first step to stopping a dog from begging at the table is to give them an alternative and compatible behavior. At Casey Dawgz, we like to, in the early stages of training, employ crate just so the dog doesn't start to develop a pattern of behaviors such as begging at the table. If it never becomes a pattern, it never becomes a contentious issue going forward. And from there, we teach the dogs to do oftentimes a stationary place command during dinner time as part of their routine. You know, some dogs, like, there's an old thing about should you ever feed a dog people food? We like to think that's owner choice and whether or not the dog can handle that. Personally, with my dogs, at the end of my meal, if they've been good and they've stayed on their place the entire time, then they might get a little piece of that, sometimes. Or maybe that's after they get their meal, and that feeds into the old theories about the humans should eat first. What we do know is we don't want the dogs to develop a habit of begging at the table. So starting off by just putting the dog away during dinner time if you can't control the dog. And as the dog progresses through their training process, you can teach them more stationary behaviors such as place. It's an excellent time to work on a dog's long down as well. And just teaching the dogs to be calm during dinner time and teach them that while the humans are eating, especially at their table in their place, that is not an activity for them. It's normal for a dog to be interested in your food. In fact, you want your dog to be interested in your food. But there are some dogs that are definitely more intense about it. Some dogs that, especially if it has been inadvertently reinforced, if we're dropping food and the dog is even accidentally getting it, the dog is learning that there is gold at the end of this little rainbow, our table and stuff like that. So just not letting the dog get in a habit of just being around early on and then giving the dog the alternative and compatible behavior going forward. But with the styles of begging, it's normal for dogs to be interested in your food, but it's also normal for us to teach dogs to restrain themselves when they are interested in stuff. And, this can help. General obedience will help with that sort of thing. Dogs that do really well during dinner time, if it never becomes a habit of them to beg going forward, then some of those dogs are actually those are the dogs that you're able to see go to cafes or, go out to brunch with the family. Because the dogs have learned that there is no reward that comes from any sort of begging. So if the begging is just looking at you or whining or, otherwise unwanted behavior, we definitely want to come see us at Casey Dawgz to help with that.